Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Well, it's been, I think, over a month since I got my G9 Mark II, and I did an initial video about this. I thought I'd just do a quick follow-up. So far, mostly good. We had the recent really cold spell here in the Chicago area. Temperatures got down to the minus, what was it? minus 12 Fahrenheit, so that's like minus 20-ish Celsius, somewhere around there, probably a little bit more than that. The camera, I took it, I didn't go out when it was that cold. I went out one day when it was right around just a little bit above 0 Fahrenheit, so, minus 10 or so Celsius. And the camera worked fine. In fact, I'll put some photos up that I took. We're fortunate here in that we have a little nature center, a little nature museum not far away, and they have bird feeders out. And so, of course, when it gets really cold, there are a lot of birds at the bird feeder. So that's actually one of the things I miss about having a backyard is the bird feeder, because we used to get a fair amount of birds at our bird feeders. The camera worked just fine, but there are some minor niggles with this camera, all of which I think can be fixed with firmware updates. And I mentioned in my initial video that this camera, and I don't know if anybody else has got a G9 Mark II that does this, please put it in the comments, but this camera records video, and the capture time of the video is 6 hours later than the capture time in still images. And somebody pointed out that that's about where, from Chicago, that's would be Greenwich Mean Time. And then I thought that maybe Lightroom was doing it on import, and I don't know why I got that idea. I thought I noticed that when it came into the import window, it was in the right order, but no, it's not Lightroom. So it seems to me that's something that can be addressed. What I haven't tried yet is just resetting the camera, but I really don't want to reset it because I've got all my settings set up. So maybe that would help. Another issue, it's a minor one, but a little quick video button, which is right here. So you set the video mode, or the video, whether it's full HD or 4K, you set that while you're in one of the photo modes. And I like to just have it set to regular 1080p, full HD 30, just for quick videos, nothing higher than that. But what happens is if you switch over to video, and then you set a different video size and frame rate, the setting back in the photo modes goes to 4K 60. And I've checked this a couple times, but every time you do that, if you have it set to something other than 4K 60 using the little red button, it jumps back to 4K 60. So that's kind of an annoyance. Again, if somebody has a G9 Mark II and either it has that or doesn't have it, let us know, because it'd be good to know if this is a general thing or perhaps this camera just has a glitch in the firmware. Autofocus, for the most part, it's good. The continuous autofocus is obviously better because it's got the phase detect autofocus. Now, in single autofocus, single AF, it still uses DFD, which is fine because DFD is very fast in initial focus acquisition. I mean, supposedly it's faster than phase detect, which is why Panasonic uses it for that. But this thing still does something that Panasonic cameras, in my experience, have always done, and that is, if you are, say, out on a walk and you focus on something far away, right? And then you're walking along and you see something close up you want to focus. The camera has a really hard time switching from that to the closer object, especially if it's an object that's like kind of small. And even if you say use the touchscreen to set the focus point, it still has problems. And so, and I tried it in both single and continuous AF, same result. So that's just something that seems to me that could be addressed, because my old G9 did it, my G95, which is what I'm filming on right now, we'll see how well the autofocus is doing with this. But it does it as well, and it's kind of an annoyance, because if you're out, say, taking a walk, or you're out doing nature type photography, you want it to be able to switch focus pretty quickly to something fairly close. And one feature that is not on the G9 Mark II, that is on the G95, it was on the G9, it's on this little ZS200, it's on the LX100 Mark II, which is in a bag somewhere, and that is 4K live cropping. Now, in fact, I have a video about that. I'll link to it in the end titles. 4K live cropping essentially lets you do a full HD crop of a 4K frame. And I mean, you can do this in post, but sometimes it's nice to be able to set this up where you have a start point and an end point in that frame, and it will do a pan and a zoom if you want, zooming in or zooming out. And it's not on this camera, which I find unusual, because you would think that because the camera has the ability to shoot 5.8K open gate, you could do 5.8 live crop. And it would be really useful to be able to do that both in the horizontal and vertical orientation. So that if you're out and you see something and you want to do a YouTube short with it, you could do that right in there in camera, pop it over to your phone through Wi-Fi, and upload a short. So again, seems to me like this is something that can be added in firmware, but that's not always the case. Sometimes there are hardware limitations that prevent firmware updates from being able to be done, but I kind of have a hunch that that's not the case with this camera. So if Panasonic's listening, please put that feature in this camera and make it a 5.8K live crop, so you can use it shooting open gate and crop to either 4K or to 1080p. I mean, now you could crop it to 4K because 4K is essentially 8 megapixels, so you can still crop in from the 25 megapixels pretty deeply. So if you want to zoom in, you've got all that room to zoom in and still shoot 4K. So those are my follow-up thoughts on this camera. But overall, it's an excellent camera, and the continuous autofocus really is. I mean, it's using it for birds. It does a great job. So if this was interesting, useful to you, hey, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell to be notified when I have a new video up. I'm Todd Banner. I will see you in the next video.